Right now in Rome, the Italian Open organizers are in a state of complete panic. They were forced to suddenly relocate a standard first-round match to one of the largest stadiums available. All of this happened because a 20-year-old player ranked outside the top 40 is selling out seats faster than anyone expected. Yes, you read that correctly. A rising athlete who is only just beginning to enter the mainstream consciousness is generating social media engagement that is 5 to 10 times higher than that of the sport's biggest established stars. Players like Arina Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek are global icons, yet this young competitor is drawing larger crowds than them, even though most casual fans are only now starting to learn about her. The situation on the ground has turned into pure chaos, creating a total logistical nightmare for the event staff. Tickets disappeared within minutes. The side courts are overflowing with desperate fans. People are crowding against the fences and standing on chairs just to catch a glimpse of her practice sessions. Let us examine the specific numbers because they are truly mind-boggling. When the Italian Open posted a routine update about her arrival, the internet erupted. The volume of comments, shares, and overall digital traffic was something tournament officials had never witnessed before for a first-round player. This has created a strange new reality where the highest-ranked players in the world can walk around the grounds without much notice, while a player ranked around 42 requires a security escort simply to reach the locker room safely. This is not merely a small group of dedicated supporters offering polite applause. It is a massive wave of human energy that the tournament system was never equipped to manage. Security details had to be doubled. Staff members are rushing around, trying to figure out how to control crowds that rival those of a Grand Slam final. You might assume this is simply an entertaining tale about a popular underdog enjoying a strong week, but the craziest aspect of this crowd frenzy is not what is occurring in the stands. The real story lies in the massive financial shockwave she's quietly generating throughout the entire WTA boardroom. Tournament directors do not normally become anxious over a round of 128 matchup. Sponsors usually wait until the quarterfinals before giving serious attention. Yet right now, everyone in positions of power is scrambling. They are reviewing the analytics and realizing that the power dynamics of global tennis are shifting dramatically right before their eyes. We are witnessing an unprecedented phenomenon, and it all centers around one name: Alex Eala. To truly grasp the absolute insanity of this moment, you must consider the bigger picture of professional women's tennis. For decades, this sport has operated as an exclusive club. It has been overwhelmingly dominated by European and American powerhouses. The narrative has almost always followed the same pattern. Champions emerge from the same prestigious academies and the same wealthy countries. Of course, we have seen talented players from Asia in the past, but they typically had to work twice as hard to receive even a fraction of the primetime media coverage. Then Alex Eala arrived and completely shattered that script. She's no longer just that promising young prospect with potential. She has moved far beyond being a novelty act gaining experience on the big stage. Over the past few months, she has transformed into an absolute force on the court. Just days ago in Madrid, she delivered a terrifying message to the rest of the tour. She stepped onto the European clay and thoroughly dismantled Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. We are talking about a former world number 11. Pavlyuchenkova is a seasoned veteran who knows precisely how to break down young players and expose their vulnerabilities. But Alex Eala did not merely scrape through with a fortunate victory. She dominated the match from start to finish. She displayed a level of tactical brilliance and raw physical power that left the entire tennis world stunned. Consider the immense pressure of competing in Europe as an outsider. The clay courts in Rome are heavy, the weather can be unpredictable, and the fans can be harsh if you fail to perform. Many young players collapse under this specific type of stress. They allow the legacy of the venue to intimidate them. But Alex Eala embraces the chaos. She competes with a cold, calculating intensity that completely contradicts her young age. When she broke the serve of Pavlyuchenkova in Madrid, she did not over-celebrate. She simply walked back to the baseline with an expression that conveyed she belonged exactly where she was. That quiet confidence is precisely what terrifies the top seeds. They study her footage and understand that they cannot shake her mentally. That victory in Madrid altered everything. It flipped a switch in the minds of the fans, the media, and most importantly, her opponents. Alex Eala entered Rome not as a hopeful underdog but as a legitimate threat. The crowd in Italy is notoriously demanding. They understand elite tennis and do not show up merely to watch a polite warm-up match. They are flocking to her games because they want to see the establishment challenged. They want to witness a bold challenger who is willing to disrupt the natural order of the tour. Every time she strikes a lethal backhand down the line, you can sense the energy in the stadium shift. Her opponents are beginning to feel heavy pressure even before they step onto the court. They realize they are not simply facing a rising star, they are confronting a massive cultural movement. The atmosphere is electric. It feels less like an early round tennis match and more like a heavyweight championship fight. Yet as remarkable as her on-court performance has been, her devastating tennis skills are actually the least interesting part of this story. While everyone focuses on her fierce rallies, something far bigger is unfolding behind the scenes. The official tournament website traffic has spiked by over 400% in a single week. Broadcasters are staring at their screens in disbelief. The tennis establishment is terrified, and the fans are absolutely loving every moment of it. If you are as fascinated by this massive shift in sports history as I am, make sure you join our community here so we can continue uncovering the truth behind these historic tennis milestones together. Here is what the broadcast cameras are not fully conveying to you. When Eala steps onto an Italian clay court, she effectively brings an entire nation with her. If you watch the matches on television, you only see a tight frame of the action. You see the perfectly manicured red clay, the white lines, and the two athletes competing. You might hear the usual sounds of a professional tennis match, but you do not truly feel the ground shaking beneath the stadium. You do not experience the deafening, vibrating roar that erupts every single time her racket connects with the ball. To understand this incredible phenomenon, we have to discuss the secret weapon that European players simply do not possess. We are talking about the ultimate away home court advantage. Tennis is traditionally a very polite and aristocratic sport. Spectators usually sit quietly in their expensive seats. They clap respectfully after long baseline rallies and wait patiently for the umpire to call the score before making any noise. But the matches featuring Eala are completely destroying that old tradition. Rome and its surrounding European cities host a massive and deeply passionate Filipino community. These people in the stands are not wealthy tourists who flew in for a casual weekend getaway. These are hardworking locals who live in Italy, along with thousands of others who are taking long train rides from Milan, Naples, and even across international borders just to witness history in the making. They are taking time off from their jobs and spending their hard-earned money to be present. They are transforming these quiet historical tennis venues into something that resembles a wild World Cup soccer match. Imagine the visual impact of this crowd. The secondary courts at the Italian Open are completely draped in national colors. You see endless waves of flags waving violently in the wind. You hear rhythmic, synchronized chants echoing loudly through the entire stadium complex. Every single point she wins is celebrated as if she had just secured a Grand Slam championship point. This level of sheer fanaticism is something the WTA Tour rarely sees outside of a major final featuring a massive hometown hero. Yet Eala is achieving this on foreign soil. She is playing thousands of miles away from Manila, yet she is surrounded by an absolute fortress of relentless support. Now put yourself directly in the shoes of her opponent for a moment. Imagine you are a seasoned European professional player. You have trained your entire life to maintain perfect mental focus on the court, but nothing prepares you for the psychological warfare of facing an entire community of passionate supporters. When you hit a beautiful cross-court winner, you are met with dead, heavy silence. The stadium feels completely empty for your achievements. But the second you miss a first serve or hit the ball out of bounds, the stadium erupts in joyous celebration. The pressure is suffocating. Your mistakes are magnified 100 times over. You are no longer just playing a tennis match against a 20-year-old prodigy. You are trying to defeat a massive living organism that breathes fresh energy into her with every single point she plays. We witnessed this exact dynamic play out beautifully and brutally in Madrid just a few days ago. The raw crowd energy carried her through the most difficult moments of the match. When her veteran opponent attempted to build momentum and seize control, the relentless noise from the stands completely shattered her concentration. It is an overwhelming wall of sound that disrupts the natural rhythm of the game. European players are highly conditioned to perform in front of neutral, polite crowds who appreciate good tennis no matter who wins. They become paralyzed when confronted by a hostile crowd that actively wants to see them fail on every swing. This extreme level of fan loyalty creates a terrifying reality for anyone standing on the other side of the net. They cannot simply outplay Eala with superior technique. They must survive the deafening noise, the endless chants, and the crushing weight of a nation willing her to victory. It is an absolute nightmare for her opponents on the court. But for the tournament sponsors watching from the luxury suites, it is a literal gold mine they never anticipated. This brings us to the actual boardroom panic occurring behind closed doors. The Italian Open executives are examining their digital analytics right now, and the numbers defy all traditional tennis metrics. For decades, the entire business model of women's tennis has been incredibly predictable. You market the top 10 players, you sell broadcast rights based on European and American television time zones, and you hope for an exciting final to attract casual viewers. The early rounds are usually a complete financial dead zone. Nobody fights over television rights for a routine round of 128 match. Until now, the economic shockwave hitting Rome is completely unprecedented in the modern era of the sport. Television networks across the Philippines and the entire Southeast Asian region are engaged in fierce bidding wars. They are offering massive amounts of USD to the tournament organizers just to secure exclusive rights to broadcast her opening matches live. This breaks every rule in the sport's marketing playbook. Regional networks do not normally exhaust their annual budgets for early round coverage, but they know exactly what they are purchasing: guaranteed, massive, and highly obsessive viewership numbers that rival major local sporting events. We are looking at a complete paradigm shift in how global tennis generates revenue. Social media engagement is the ultimate currency in modern sports, and Eala is currently richer than anyone else in the entire tournament draw. When the official tournament pages post a simple 10-second highlight video of her practice session, the engagement metrics destroy those of established Grand Slam champions. We are talking about 10 times the likes, 10 times the shares, and a comment section moving so fast that it crashes the social media feed. The algorithm is aggressively pushing her face to millions of screens worldwide because the interaction rate is off the charts. Before we examine the ultimate test happening tomorrow night, I really want to know what you think about this massive shift in power. Do you believe the traditional tennis establishment is truly ready to embrace this massive Asian audience, or will they try to force the sport back into its old European mold? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments, because the corporate panic we're seeing behind the scenes tells me the old system is completely terrified of this rapid change. The major corporate sponsors are definitely feeling the intense pressure to adapt immediately. Imagine being a luxury European brand that just spent millions of USD sponsoring the Italian Open. You purchased premium billboard space around the court expecting to reach wealthy local residents and tourists. Suddenly, the television camera is constantly panning across a sea of passionate fans from a completely different demographic. You quickly realize you are missing out on a billion-dollar consumer market simply because your marketing team does not know how to connect with them. We are hearing reports of major European sponsors frantically searching for Tagalog translators in Rome right now. They are desperately trying to negotiate regional advertising deals in the hotel lobbies before the next match begins. They are terrified of missing the biggest commercial opportunity the sport has seen in years. Eala has become the ultimate corporate bridge. She is effortlessly connecting the historic aristocratic world of European clay courts with the explosive, youthful, and highly lucrative market of Southeast Asia. She is achieving organically what an entire army of highly paid marketing executives failed to accomplish over the last 20 years. She is making millions of new people care deeply about a random early round match in Italy. This is no longer just a heartwarming story about a talented young athlete trying to climb the global rankings. This is the story of a rapidly expanding financial empire that dictates the rules wherever it goes. She is forcing one of the oldest sports institutions in the world to rewrite their entire business model overnight. The tournament directors know it. The corporate sponsors know it. The television executives know it. This is not theory anymore. The ultimate test of this new empire is happening tomorrow night, and the entire tennis world is holding its breath. Tomorrow night, May 6th, she faces Magdalena Frick, and the stakes are ridiculously high. Organizers had to literally upgrade the court assignment just to handle the security and crowd control. This simple logistical change is the ultimate proof of her unbelievable influence over the entire sport. Right now, we are no longer talking about social media hype or abstract financial projections created in a corporate office. We are talking about concrete reality happening in real time on the ground in Italy. Take a very close look at the matchup on paper to truly understand the sheer madness of the situation. Magdalena Frick is ranked number 45 in the world. She's a highly experienced tactical player who knows exactly how to navigate these slow, heavy clay courts. Under normal circumstances, a first-round match between the player ranked 42 and the player ranked 45 would be a completely quiet affair. Usually, only a few dozen local fans might sit in the stands while the rest of the tennis world ignores it to watch the top seeds practice. But nothing about this specific match is normal. The intense media pressure and the overwhelming crowd anticipation are transforming this early round game into something massive and terrifying. It currently carries the exact same heavy psychological weight as a Grand Slam semifinal. The local Italian organizers are in full crisis management mode. They reviewed the projected attendance figures and immediately realized their original plan was a disaster waiting to happen. The secondary court they had assigned simply could not contain the sheer volume of fans arriving from across Europe. The fences would literally collapse under the weight of the crowd. They were forced to make an unprecedented administrative decision. They upgraded the match to one of the largest stadiums on the grounds. They did this solely to ensure adequate security, prevent a dangerous situation, and maintain basic crowd control. Think deeply about what that actually means for the global sport of tennis. a player who has not even cracked the top 30 yet, is single-handedly dictating the physical logistics of a major international event. The broadcast networks are treating this random opening match like a blockbuster movie premiere. Online viewership projections indicate that this specific match will shatter every single streaming record ever recorded for an opening round at the Italian Open. People who do not even follow professional tennis are setting alarms on their phones just to watch her step onto the court. Casual sports fans are tuning in just to witness the sheer spectacle of the roaring crowd. She has completely transcended the sport itself to become pure box office gold. Think about the immense pressure resting on the shoulders of Magdalena Frick. She's stepping onto the court knowing that millions of people actively want to see her fail. Every time she tosses the ball up to serve, she will hear the low, intimidating rumble of a crowd that heavily favors her opponent. She has to block out the noise, ignore the flying flags, and somehow focus on a bouncing yellow ball. It is a monumental task that breaks even the strongest veterans. The mental fortitude required just to survive the first set will be astronomical. The real secret here is the incredible momentum she is building with every single swing of her racket. Every time she wins a point, the massive snowball gets bigger, heavier, and rolls faster. If she defeats Frick tomorrow night, she sends a terrifying shockwave directly up the tournament bracket. The top-seeded players are sitting in their luxury hotel rooms right now, watching the massive crowds gather on television. They are listening to the deafening chants echoing across the facility. They know exactly what is coming for them. They know that if they face her in later rounds, they will not just be battling a skilled opponent with a lethal backhand. They will be walking into an absolute psychological war zone. The energy is completely contagious. It is bleeding out of the stadium, infecting the entire city of Rome and traveling across the globe. And what happens if she actually wins this critical match? The implications are staggering. A victory tomorrow night does not just disrupt the carefully planned tournament draw, it fundamentally changes the economic ceiling of the entire event. The merchandise tents will sell out of anything related to her. The local restaurants and hotels will see a massive influx of spending from her traveling fan base. The organizers will have to rewrite their security protocols for the rest of the week because the crowds will only grow larger and more intense. The ripple effect of a single victory will be felt in every corner of the Italian Open. Eala is not just playing for ranking points anymore. She's practically rewriting the entire marketing playbook for the WTA Tour in real time. We are witnessing something that goes way beyond a single victory or a single clay court tournament. This beautiful explosion of popularity in Rome is a massive warning signal to the old tennis establishment. It proves permanently that the center of gravity in global sports is rapidly shifting towards Southeast Asia. For generations, talented athletes from that region were treated as secondary characters in a heavily European story. They were expected to be polite, play hard, smile for the cameras, and quietly exit the stage when the real stars arrived to claim the trophies. Those days are completely over. The explosive rise of this incredible player proves that Southeast Asian fans possess the massive financial power, the relentless dedication, and the sheer numbers to completely dictate the future of the sport. They refuse to be ignored any longer by the major broadcasting networks. They are aggressively demanding primetime television slots for their local hero. They are hijacking the social media algorithms to ensure her face is plastered on every screen. They are turning quiet, aristocratic clay courts into roaring cathedrals of fierce national pride. If she continues to push deep into this tournament, she will completely redefine what a global tennis superstar looks like in the year 2026. She's violently tearing down the invisible walls that have kept this sport so heavily restricted and exclusive for decades. This massive cultural shift is forcing the European media to completely change how they talk about tennis. For years, they focused all their analytical energy on players from their own backyards. Now they are frantically researching Southeast Asian tennis history. They are desperately trying to understand the deep cultural significance of her incredible rise. They are bringing in new commentators, analyzing new data metrics, and realizing that they missed the biggest story in the sports world. She's not just winning tennis matches. She is actively educating the entire Western Hemisphere about the unstoppable power of her community. The corporate sponsors finally understand the new reality. They see the incredible engagement numbers, they hear the deafening roars from the crowd, and they realize their old marketing strategies are completely obsolete. The entire business model of women's tennis must now revolve around this massive, highly lucrative new audience. We are watching the real-time birth of a massive athletic empire. The established order of the WTA Tour is crumbling before our very eyes. And something incredibly exciting, vibrant, and powerful is rising from the ashes to take its place. She is the undeniable catalyst for this massive global shift. The whole world is finally paying full attention to her every single move. Drop a comment below. How far do you think she will actually go in Rome? Make sure you are subscribed because we are breaking down every single match of this historic run.